Memorial Day weekend means a SportsCenter barbecue. Post office closed, the mailman's lighting the grill. Others needed 9 strikes of the match. Some baby back ribs, though they tend to get a little messy, eh? Perhaps we can toss you a salad instead. Though we may not have proper utensils, there are finer delicacies for some honored guests, and Mom's special sauce is bringing everyone home. Plenty of fireworks from the Rockets' red glare. We're bringing in denoise and defunk, leaving you to choose a proper viewing point. Heck, wherever you can, grab a seat. So as families gather from all over for the feast you just have to catch.
And if you think I'm ever going to leave this place, you're crazy.
It is time to pig out on SportsCenter next.
Happy Friday night. Glad you're a part of it, along with Steve Levy. I'm Linda Cohn.
Coming up on SportsCenter, Mike Tyson is punching in public again. John Daly has made plans for the next public display of his golf game, and we'll tell you how Dwight Gooden did today and tonight. But first, we pick and roll over to the NBA playoffs.
Illegal or legal? That is always the question, especially in Houston. The Houston Rockets have talked to the refs. Tapes were even sent to the league office. Hakeem Olajuwon has called the Jazz a dirty team. Charles Barkley was on the verge of, well, taking matters into his own hands. The matter at hand for the Rockets, an 0-2 deficit to Utah with a virtual must-win situation tonight back home in Houston. The sideshows were over. It was time for the main event, and the Summit was ready for the action. Right off the opening tip, John Stockton, Greg Ostertag. 0 points in game 2 for Big O, 7 in the first in this game. End of one now. Karl Malone. Really not himself, but right here, he's on it. At the buzzer, good 31-18 Jazz after one in control. Mario Elie would come alive. Charles Barkley the miss. Elie, the tip, the rebound back to 3 for 3, and Rockets were within 6. Then watch the hustle off the double team. Elie making things happen all the way across the court to break up the pass. Then Elie stepping in, taking charge on talented Shandon Anderson. The pick and roll, as we all know, has been killing Houston. Well, John Stockton finds some room, takes advantage, and buries it off that pick. As for Jeff Hornacek, he had the shooting touch. He hit the J. What's with Barkley? So Matt Maloney solves the rotation problem. Check it out. Watch Maloney. He's going to grab Greg Foster. There's no call there, and that solves the screen and the roll. But the bench was the real difference. Eddie Johnson, the leaner. Yeah, the Rockets bench this time was the difference. Second half, Clyde Drexler from outside. Houston takes their first lead of the game, 57-55. Jazz hanging tough. You know they would be. Greg Foster right in Charles' face yet. Jazz within 2, but Eddie Johnson, the difference. The bench warrior nailing the 3. Rockets up 6. To the 4th, more VJ. On D, the steal from Stockton of all people, and then the veteran. So cool, so casual. And Johnson wasn't finished. Yeah, in the zone. Had to say it once. Rockets are alive and well, thank you. 118-100 the final. Now that Jazz lead is cut to 2-1 with game 4 back in Houston Sunday afternoon. For Eddie Johnson, he finished with 31 points, but get this, he was 12 of 17 from the field. Oh yeah, Olajuwon, that guy. 27 points he chipped in with, 7 boards. The Rockets outscoring the Jazz 67-49 in the second half. Utah's bench, you know, they were so instrumental in the first 2 games. Well, in this game, they were outscored 47-26.
As insignificant as empty net goals that turn 2-goal games into 3-goal games are, this one might not have been. In Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals, Eric Lindros just shedded Mark Messier as if he was Peter Ferraro and not his idol, on his way to a hat trick and a 6-3 Flyers win. The passing of the power forward torch, maybe. A 2-1 series lead over the Rangers, definitely. Game 4 tonight at the Garden, as seen earlier here on ESPN. Russ Courtnall, Mark Messier hopped over his stick, couldn't handle it. 3 minutes later, Michael Renberg from behind the net stuffs it by Mike Richter. 1-0 Flyers, and Renberg certainly paid to score that goal. Early in the second, still 1-0. Brian Leach, injured wrist, lets the wrister go. Hit the crossbar, still 1-0. Late in the second, things look bad for New York. Eric Desjardins, the slash on Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky would stay down, but he's a hockey player, and the great one would only miss a couple of shifts. Early in the third now. Rangers are shorthanded, still 1-0. Esa Tikkanen on the goal. How many big goals has Esa scored since rejoining the Rangers? Beats Hextall with the backhand. You see it again. The great individual move is 8th. A win by a score of 3-2. They open up a 3-1 series lead in this one. Lindros has 10 goals in the playoffs, matching his playoff career total entering this year. Mike Richter, 37 stops. It wasn't enough. As Terry Murray afterwards talked about the Lindros heroics.
To score that goal, that was a I think it's a pretty special goal. Not only that, Lindros scored a power play goal, but he took a backhand shot. That backhand shot's from almost the dot in the face-off circle. There's I think you'd see most players in that kind of position would try and pull it to a forehand, and if that had been the case, it might have been too late.
At this point, the Stanley Cup Finals certainly shaping up like it would be Philadelphia against Detroit. We'll have more on the Western Conference Finals later in SportsCenter. Linda.
The man has had 4 arm operations, 2 on his shoulder in the last 3 years. Numbers like that scared the Yankees. Yeah, they wanted to keep Jimmy Key in pinstripes, but only for 1 more season. The 36-year-old hurler wanted 2 years. He got it from the Orioles. Now, just a few months later, Key was in position to become the major's first 9-game winner with a victory in Cleveland. And the Indians have been hot. There's Jimmy Key. And Kevin Seitzer facing Key. Likes the sound of this, but Brady Anderson has a good glove, doesn't he? Bottom second now, things got ugly for the O's. No help for Key. Julio Franco over Key. Borda can't get the handle on it. That's an E for him, obviously. Next batter, David Justice. Long-term contract, David Justice. Gets it done with a double. Franco moves all the way to third base. They'll hold him there. It's fundamental baseball because your next batter, Manny Ramirez, grounds one right by Robbie Alomar for the 2-run single. Like it was all planned. Indians up 2-1.
Delivers a 2-run single to center field.
So Jimmy Key was having trouble. He walked Tony Fernandez, who would hit Chris Hoyles in the head with his bat. Hoyles would be okay, but for Key's counterpart, Chad O.J., things were quite well. Ask Eric Davis. And again, retiring Davis looking this time. And one last time, it was not Davis's day against Chad O.J. O.J. finishing with a career-high 9 strikeouts. He allowed just 2 hits, going the distance in a 6-1 Indians victory. With all the well-deserved hoopla surrounding Jimmy Key, plenty forgot to notice that other mound man in Chad O.J. He wins his 3rd straight start. He didn't allow a hit after that B.J. Surhoff single that happened in the 2nd inning. That was a span of 26 batters. Oh, maybe Cal Ripken should cool it on his book tour. He just has 7 hits in his last 12 games.
National League, and Pedro Martinez is the ace of the Montreal pitching staff, but you probably already knew that. He has nearly twice as many wins and an ERA 2 full